Hello, and welcome back to Nerd News. Today we have a game being delayed to 2023. We have an update from the creators of Final Space and what's going on with that show. And today is a great day. Last of Us Day. Maybe we'll get some news. We'll talk about it towards the end. Let's start with the game delay. We have Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals being delayed to 2023. Here's the note from the developer. I hear the Oxenfree is a very good game, but I haven't actually played it myself. Don't really know anything about this game other than it was supposed to come out this year and got delayed till next year. It's an indie game. Yeah, it's probably being made by like 10 people or something, so like cut them a break. It'll come when it comes. We've been waiting on Silksong for like 4 years or 5 years now. I think we can hold off a little bit for Oxenfree 2. Although again, I haven't actually played Oxenfree, so maybe it's that good and everyone's just like ravenously craving for this game. I do hear it's really good though. One day I'll pick it up, but I have not played it yet. So next up we have Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Apparently performed so well that it's being turned into its own franchise. It is a spin-off of the Borderlands games, and apparently it did really well. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like Borderlands, but this game actually looked really cool, and I did want to pick it up, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So that's cool. And now obviously, if it did this well, I think that means it's probably a good game. So I think I'm gonna take the time to pick this up and play it. It looks really good, just haven't gotten around to playing it, but it's going to be a franchise, so that's good for all the Tiny Tina fans out there. Next up, Legends of Runeterra and Wise Schwartz both got ban lists. I'm going to put them up on the screen, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know what any of these are. I've heard of the games, but I don't really know anything about them. But more importantly, this continues the going on 2-week streak of everything getting a ban list besides Yu-Gi-Oh!, TCG. Where's the ban list? Where is the ban list? It's been like 3 months. It is ridiculous. It's been so long since we've gotten an actual ban list. It's kind of insane. Next up we have Sly Cooper and its 20th anniversary. Sony's celebrating. There's a shirt available. Yay! There's no game announcement. There's not even like, oh, we're gonna do something with Sly Cooper, a remaster, a re-release of the old games. You know, we're gonna port them to the PS5. You know, you get the whole collection or something like that. No. 20 years and here's a shirt. It's an ugly shirt too, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. It's kind of an ugly shirt. I don't particularly like it. That's it. That's all they're doing. Today is The Last of Us Day, and I love The Last of Us. It's one of my favorite games. It's my favorite game on the PS4. Both of them. I don't want to say it's my favorite game on the PS3 just because I played a lot more games on the PS3 and didn't really play Last of Us on the PS3. However, I played it on the PS4 and loved it, and played the second one on the PS4 and really loved it, and I recently bought the PS5 version because I'm an idiot. But I played it, beat it, and loved that too. So, today is Last of Us Day. Hopefully we get some news. Maybe by the time this video goes up, you'll have already gotten the news. Obviously, it's being recorded the night before, so I don't have that news, but we'll talk about that tomorrow if there is any news. Anyway, hopefully there's some news on the multiplayer from The Last of Us 2 that we were supposed to get. They just kind of never came. I know it was supposed to be a separate thing, but never really came. Hopefully we get something on that. Or maybe a trailer for the new show comes out and we get to finally see some of this show. I know we've seen like little snippets in HBO's like tagline for next year. We saw a little bit, but maybe we get like an actual trailer for the show. That would be great. A release date for the show would be fantastic. I don't think there is one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I'm wrong, you know, comment below what the release date is, because I probably haven't looked it up because I didn't really want to. Hopefully we get some good information, even if it's something small like just a trailer or the release date for the show or anything really. I don't expect like The Last of Us 3 to be announced or, you know, 2 remastered for the PS5. I don't expect anything like that. I think that's asking way too much. But again, if we can get something small like, you know, a trailer or something, just anything, that'd be nice. Maybe some merch. Maybe now if we get a shirt for this, I'll probably buy it. If we get a Last of Us Day shirt, I'll probably buy that. As long as it looks better than that Sly Cooper shirt. Next up we have a message from the Final Space creators. The show is being used as a tax write-off for Warner Brothers, because of course it is, because, you know, Warner Brothers is a shitty company, like most companies, but, you know, they themselves are kind of a shitty company. So it's being used as a tax write-off. Physical copies of the series have been halted. You cannot buy them anymore. I'm sure you can find them on eBay or something. They're probably going to cost an insane amount, but they're no longer available through things like Amazon, Walmart, wherever they were sold. And currently, it is only available internationally through Netflix, and Netflix will be pulling that at the end of their contract. So as soon as Netflix pulls it, it's gone. If you want to watch it right now, I recommend using a VPN service, NordVPN, but they can relocate you so you can kind of get into other regions, Netflix, and watch shows on there. So if you want to watch Final Space, I hear it's a really, really good show. I would like to watch it. Doesn't look like I'm going to be watching it because I don't really have time to watch it right now. And by the time I do have time to watch it, it's probably going to be gone. I'm going to try to pick up the physical copies and just see if I can, but it's going to get pulled from Netflix internationally, and the show will just be gone. Sad day for animation, just in general. Even if this isn't like the biggest show in the world, it doesn't really need to be. Just this much animated content being taken away that's already completed. Why are you pulling physical copies? Like, just sell the physical copies. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is the kind of things that we complain about when we say that mergers are never really a good thing. The Warner Brothers merger with Discovery has done nothing for really anyone except for like the 10 people who own major stock in the two companies and who made a lot of money. As regular consumers, this is just a bad thing for us. HBO Max subscription price is going to be going up to include the Discovery content. So now, not only are you paying more money for either streaming service or both, if you choose to have both, if you're paying more, you're probably getting content you didn't really want. I know personally, I have zero interest in anything Discovery puts on TV. I do not care about all of their like reality shows and whatever that they do. That's just not something I watch. I don't even watch a lot of TV to begin with. So for me, HBO Max is just going to cost more money, and I'm losing shows. If it was being raised to include Discovery stuff, but nothing was being taken away, I'd honestly just not really care that much. Like, all right, fine, whatever, it's fine. But to take away content that I actually want to watch, things like Close Enough, things like this, there's a lot of shows that I would have liked to watch. I wanted to watch the final season of Close Enough, and I just didn't have time. It was only out for like 3 months, which I guess kind of can sound like a long time. Like, oh, you had 3 months to watch it, but why do I only have 3 months to watch it? It's done. It's a completed show, and you own it. Why is it being taken off of your streaming service? Imagine if, like, Snow White was taken off of Disney Plus. Like, well, you had 100 years to watch it. Like, okay, people still want to watch it. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason that it should be being removed. This is Warner Brothers' legacy, and they're trampling all over it, in my opinion. Warner Brothers, specifically, is the creator of things like Cartoon Network, which is a milestone for animation. It's the first major network that was just animation, just kids' cartoons. Ted Turner purchased all the Hanna-Barbera stuff, a lot of the Looney Tunes stuff, things like Tom and Jerry. And a lot of these shows, while it seems like a lot of this stuff is on HBO Max, and to an extent Boomerang, if you've watched my Boomerang video, it's really not. So many shows are just not available on these streaming services, and that's honestly horrible. That was the whole point of them purchasing these shows, was to create a channel specifically for these shows so that they would always be available to the next generation. And to see these shows that are just gone, not even the old shows that, you know, like I grew up with. I've complained in my Boomerang video, things like Hong Kong Phooey just aren't on HBO Max, which to an extent is fine. All right, maybe you don't want to put it on HBO Max. You have this Boomerang app that's meant for old cartoons. Cool. It's not on there either. It's not there either. Right? Secret Squirrel. Absolutely love Secret Squirrel. One of my favorite shows. Doesn't exist anywhere. You can buy, I think, a box set of it, but I don't even know if that box set has the full series. I think it only has the 60s cartoons, not the more modern ones that were played with two stupid dogs. It's these old cartoons that exist, and they've been available for such a long time. There's no reason they shouldn't be available now. If you don't want to put them on HBO Max, they could be on Boomerang, but you're not putting them there either. And now you're going beyond that and you're just pulling stuff from HBO Max and you're not putting it on anything else. You're just removing it. And as a tax write-off, how are you even getting a tax write-off for this? It's done. You're choosing not to release it. Why are you getting a tax write-off? Because you're choosing not to release something. It's a finished product. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to market it. Just stick it on your app and put it on the app. That's it. New releases. Here. People will watch it, or they won't. But that's it. That's how you. There you go. That's all you need. There's no reason that this should be just completely removed from a service. And even worse still, you're removing physical copies. Like, they already exist. You already printed this product. Walmart had them. They purchased them. Amazon has them. They purchased them. And you're recalling them to take them off the shelves. That you're pulling them so that they can't be sold anymore. For what reason? It's absolutely ridiculous. I before my camera broke, which is fixed now, I intended to make a video specifically about the HBO Max problems and how I felt about the animation department specifically, because that's what's really being targeted here. I know some movies were canceled. The big one everyone points to is Batgirl, and that is a loss. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved to see a Batgirl movie. But we also lost Scoob, the animated movie. I think it was supposed to be a Christmas movie that was pretty much done. That got taken away as well. But it's just been hit after hit after hit to animation, and it's really not fair. Warner Brothers owes a lot to its animated department. Some of the best cartoons that you know and love are Warner Brothers owned. And to see them removing shows, even if these shows are not currently as beloved as these older ones, they could be eventually with time. These things take time. You don't create the Flintstones and it becomes a cultural touchstone after 2 years. By the time the Flintstones was leaving TV, the last 3 seasons, it sucked. No one liked it. No one cared. But after being put back on the air with things like Cartoon Network and then airing on Boomerang, it grew into another generation, and you had a whole nother set of people watching it, and it's become a cultural thing where everyone knows who the Flintstones are. Pebbles and Bam Bam are everywhere. They are, properties in their own right. They are their own massive IP in their own right. People know who they are and care. And the only way to get people to know who these characters are and care about these characters are for them to be available, for people to see it, and for people to show it to the next generation. You can't show someone, a show that's not there anymore. I can't show someone else close enough. It doesn't exist anymore. There's no way to watch it. It's gone. And this is how you prevent things from ever being more than what they were. It didn't have to do, maybe it didn't do fantastic out the gate. Maybe, it didn't get the views you expected. That happens sometimes. But the way you get these cult status movies and shows, these things that at release didn't do super well, but are super well known now and have become bigger properties now, is by continuing to release them or continuing to allow access to them so that they can be shared with others. Maybe people just didn't get a chance to watch it. Maybe the marketing wasn't there for it. Maybe people just didn't know or didn't give it a chance. And for whatever reason, the reason really doesn't even matter. If they just didn't give it a shot, there's always that chance, if it's available, for someone to convince them to take a chance on it and for it to become more than it was. But when you take it away completely, and especially on something like a streaming service where it doesn't cost you anything to keep these shows up. They're all just on a server. There's nothing. There's minimal cost involved in this. To keep these to take these shows away, it impacts the legacy that will be Warner Brothers. In 10, 15, 20 years, some of these shows just aren't there anymore. No one's going to care about Bugs Bunny in 20 years, 30 years. I mean, obviously you're going to have people who still care, but kids today don't even care about these characters. They've lost that touchstone because they're just not as relevant. And that's going to happen. But to fix that, you continuously release new things, and those things become more relevant. Things like Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon are now major cultural touchstones that introduce our side of the world to anime. And that has grown further, where now, kids aren't really watching those shows as much anymore. It's more the newer stuff, the My Heroes and stuff. But they still look back and sit and can see this and respect it and watch it and know it. That's going to happen at some point. These shows will fall off and people won't care about them anymore, but their next generation will continue and take over from where it left off. And sure, those shows are gone, but what they inspired will be here, and it will always continue. But when you take the shows away, that continuation is just gone at that point. We can follow this with, something like Mickey Mouse, where Felix the Cat, or a ton of just other rubber hose art, isn't as super popular anymore. Even with the Cuphead resurging the art style, the shows themselves have kind of just lost meaning in the modern day. No one really cares about this kind of stuff anymore. But the shows they inspired, the Mickey Mouses, the Bugs Bunnies, those for a very long time held a massive cultural status. And even now, while people don't really care about Mickey Mouse specifically, it's still an icon of Disney. While people don't specifically care about Daffy or Bugs or the Looney Tunes in general, it's still a icon for Warner Brothers. And that's important. When you start stripping these shows back, there's nothing for you to latch onto. Sure, maybe people aren't coming in to watch these new shows or to watch these old shows specifically, but they come in to watch these new shows, and then they see what inspired that, and that's how they work their way back. But when you don't have that new introduction point, there's no reason to work back. There's no reason to look at the old Warner Brothers animation, because Warner Brothers doesn't have anything now that matters. And the things that you had that mattered, you've taken away. You've pulled them from the service. It's not something that's going to last. It's not sustainable. You can't strip old things like this from people and expect people not to care. They're just cartoons, but this is decades of hard work and labor from hundreds of people to make this, and it's a tax write-off. Honestly, it's absolutely despicable that this is the kind of thing that we even allow to happen. Why is this even allowed to be a tax write-off? It's a shame. It's a shame to see hard work and artistry just be thrown away for no good reason. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. Sorry for the rant in the middle about cartoons. It was a little long-winded considering it's supposed to be a news show, but like I said, I planned on making a video on that, and time's kind of just passed for that. I think it's no longer super relevant. I think it's just kind of people have moved past it. But I have a lot of pent-up frustration with the way it was handled, just in general. So, sorry about that. That was not really news. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.